Greetings everyone, this is the client-side validation module of the Recrogrid Framework Form Validation course. In the previous module, we implemented server-side validation, and now we'll do the same on the client side. This tutorial focuses on using the Recrogrid framework, but let's ask the question anyway. Why do we need client-side validation if we already have server-side? The two most important reasons are as follows. 1. Significantly improving user experience by displaying messages while users input data. 2. Reducing server load by not sending invalid data for validation. Moreover, users will appreciate faster validation performed on their own machines. Let's get started then. Before I start implementing the validation for the specific data structure, I'll introduce two built-in features in the Recrogrid framework. Let's examine, for example, the products table in the database. There are properties based on which we can establish general rules. For instance, whether a column is required, indicated by allow nulls. Many columns are not required, but product name, for example, is. Another aspect is the maximum length of character type columns. For instance, the maximum length of QuantitypeRinit can be 20. I have some good news. RGF recognizes these based on the data model and put them to entities. For example, for product name, the maximum length is 40. For QuantitypeRinit, the maximum length is 20, and the field is not required. By default, all fields are required, but where nullable true is defined, they are not. RGF generates these automatically, but they can be modified. Let's try it out. On the product form, if I delete the content of the product name field, I immediately get a message saying the field is required. Reorder level is not required. Neither is QuantitypeRinit. And what about the length of the value? I can't enter or paste anything longer than the defined maximum of 20 characters. So, these are built-in RGF client-side checks. Now, let's finally start validating the order detail discount field. I'll add a new directory to the client project where I'll place the components. I'll add a new component named order details. Here, I'll add an entity component, which is included in the RGF UI package. I'll pass a parameter specifying that we need to use version 1 of RG order details, which is our server-side entity. This component needs to be registered with RGF. For simplicity, I'll do this directly in Program CS, after RGF initialization. In a real program, it's advisable to collect these in a separate file in an organized manner. Let's see what we need in our component. After initialization, I'll subscribe to the form view validation requested event. and generate the method. For now, I don't need a synchronous operation. However, I do need the form component passed as a parameter, which is an RGF form component. I'll perform a check to ensure I have everything I need. I'll only execute the validation when the currently examined field is the discount. I'll retrieve the value of the field from the record. Unlike server-side validation, this is not a typed class, but an RGF dynamic dictionary. And finally, the condition. I see that Copilot has come up with a good one. I'll just fix the form message. I'll build a new one and try it out. I'll modify the value of the discount field. And as soon as I leave the field, the message appears. And the form summary message also appears. If I correct the error, the message disappears. If it's incorrect, it reappears. So we can now validate on the client without sending the data to the server. That was the Recrogrid Framework client-side validation. It's really quite simple. The next step will be to unify server and client-side validation so that validation is implemented in a single common place. To continue, click on the video. Thank you for your attention.